Rachel Morgan clutched the rolled blueprints against her chest as she hurried down the polished corridor of Nexus Innovations' executive floor. At 25, she'd been working as a junior architect at the quantum design firm for 8 months, and she still felt like an imposter among the brilliant minds who developed buildings that seemed to defy physics itself. Her boss had requested the revised sustainability plans for the Henderson Tower project, and Rachel had spent the past 2 days perfecting every detail. Lucas Kane was known for his exacting standards. At 33, he'd built Nexus Innovations from a startup into the most cutting-edge architectural firm in the country. He was brilliant, demanding, and according to every magazine that featured him, devastatingly handsome. Rachel tried not to think about that last part. She reached Lucas's office suite and knocked twice on the heavy glass door. No answer. She checked her phone. He'd texted 15 minutes ago asking her to bring the plans immediately. Maybe he'd stepped into the conference room. The door was unlocked, so Rachel pushed it open. "Mr. Kane," she called out. "I have the Henderson revisions." She stopped mid-sentence. The office was empty, but she heard water running from the attached private bathroom. Before Rachel could retreat, the bathroom door swung open and Lucas emerged, clearly fresh from the shower in the building's executive gym. He wore athletic pants slung low on his hips and absolutely nothing else. Water droplets traced paths down his chest, across defined abs that suggested he spent serious time working out. His dark hair was wet, pushed back from his face, revealing sharp cheekbones and those intense green eyes that always made Rachel's pulse stutter during meetings. For 3 endless seconds, they stared at each other. Rachel's brain short-circuited completely. The blueprints slipped from her fingers, unrolling across the floor in a cascade of paper. "I am so sorry," she gasped, her face burning. "I knocked and you texted to bring these and I didn't know you were. I'll just..." She dropped to her knees, frantically trying to gather the scattered plans, not daring to look up at him. "Rachel, it's fine," Lucas said, and was that amusement in his voice? "You knocked. I should have mentioned I'd be in the gym. I should have waited. I should have called first. I should have..." Rachel was babbling now, shoving papers together in complete disorder. "Breathed," Lucas suggested. She heard him move closer and forced herself to stand, clutching the disheveled blueprints like a shield. Lucas had grabbed a towel and draped it around his shoulders, but it did nothing to make him less distractingly attractive. "I'll just go reorganize these," Rachel managed, backing toward the door. "And reprint them. And maybe quit my job and move to another country." Lucas laughed, actually laughed. "That seems extreme. How about you just bring them back in 20 minutes when I'm more appropriately dressed?" "Yes. 20 minutes. Fully clothed." "Perfect," Rachel fled, nearly tripping over her own feet in her haste to escape. She made it to the small break room on the opposite end of the floor before she allowed herself to fully process what had just happened. Sinking into a chair, she pulled out her phone with trembling hands and called her best friend Maya. "What's wrong?" Maya answered immediately. "You sound panicked." "I just walked in on my boss half naked," Rachel blurted out. "Maya, I cannot even describe." He was fresh from the shower and there was water everywhere and his chest. "Wait, your boss? The intimidating CEO guy? Lucas Kane. And he's not intimidating, he's just..." Rachel paused, fanning herself with her hand. "Maya, I've been trying so hard to keep things professional, but seeing him like that? I can't stop thinking about it. He has this incredible body and these eyes, and when he smiled at me afterward I literally forgot how to form sentences." "You've got it bad," Maya said knowingly. "I have it so bad. How am I supposed to work with him now? How do I sit in meetings and take notes and discuss load-bearing walls when I'm picturing..." Rachel groaned. "I need this job. I can't be fantasizing about my boss." "Maybe he's fantasizing about you too," Maya suggested. "He barely knows I exist," Rachel replied. I'm just another junior architect who occasionally brings him coffee and blueprints. Although now I'm the junior architect who saw him shirtless and then had a complete meltdown. What Rachel didn't know, what she couldn't possibly have known, was that Lucas's office had a private balcony with an open door, and that balcony was directly above the break room. Voices carried perfectly through the open windows. Lucas stood on that balcony, a genuine smile spreading across his face as he listened to every word. So Rachel couldn't stop thinking about him. She'd been trying to keep things professional, which meant she'd been fighting an attraction. And seeing him had affected her enough that she'd called her best friend to confess everything. He'd noticed Rachel from her first day. The way she approached every project with passionate precision. The way she advocated for sustainable designs even when others chose easier options. The way she bit her lip when concentrating on sketches. He'd been looking for an excuse to get to know her better, to bridge the professional distance between them. And now he knew she felt something too. Lucas looked down at the blueprints she'd dropped, now sitting on his desk where she'd left them during her hasty retreat. They were excellent work, as he'd expected. Rachel had talent that far exceeded her junior status. He made a decision. If Rachel was interested, he'd give her every opportunity to act on that interest. Subtly, of course. Professionally. But definitely. 20 minutes later, Rachel returned to his office, her face still slightly flushed. Lucas was fully dressed in his usual tailored shirt and slacks, reviewing documents at his desk. The Henderson revisions, Rachel said quietly, placing the reorganized blueprints on his desk. I apologize again for earlier. No apology necessary, Lucas replied, looking up at her with a warm smile. These look excellent, Rachel. Your sustainability integrations are innovative. I'd like you to present them at tomorrow's client meeting. Rachel's eyes widened. Me? But I'm junior level. You did the work. You should present it. Lucas leaned back in his chair, studying her. Unless you're not comfortable with that? No, thank you. I'd love to present. Rachel's professional mask was back in place, but Lucas noticed the way her fingers nervously adjusted her glasses, the slight flush that remained on her cheeks. Good. And Rachel, he said as she turned to leave. You might want to clear your afternoon schedule. I'd like you to work directly with me on the Riverside Complex project. It's going to require some late nights. Of course, Mr. Kane. Whatever you need. After she left, Lucas allowed himself another smile. Late nights working together. Plenty of opportunities for Rachel to discover that her feelings weren't as one-sided as she thought. This was going to be interesting. The next 3 weeks transformed Rachel's professional life. Working directly with Lucas meant late hours in his office, reviewing holographic models and debating design philosophies. He was brilliant and demanding, but also surprisingly funny and genuinely interested in her ideas. And he kept finding excuses to be close to her. When reviewing blueprints, he'd lean over her shoulder, close enough that she could smell his cologne. During presentations, his hand would rest briefly on the small of her back as he guided her to the display screens. Once, when she was explaining a structural concept, he'd tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear with such casual intimacy that she'd completely lost her train of thought. You were saying something about load distribution, Lucas had prompted, his green eyes holding hers with unmistakable warmth. Rachel was going insane. Every professional instinct screamed that she was imagining things, that Lucas Kane would never be interested in a junior architect. But the way he looked at her sometimes. On Friday evening, they were alone in the office reviewing the Riverside project when Lucas's phone buzzed urgently. I need to handle something in the research wing, he said, his expression suddenly serious. Can you wait here? I'll be back in 15 minutes. Of course. But 30 minutes passed with no return. Rachel paced his office, worried. Finally, she decided to check on him. The research wing was supposedly restricted, but her building access card worked on the elevator. The lower level was eerily quiet, lit by soft blue light. Rachel followed the sound of voices to a sealed door marked "Authorized Personnel Only." Through the small window, she could see Lucas talking to someone, but the angle was wrong to see who. The door wasn't fully latched. It swung open when Rachel touched it. The room beyond looked like something from a science fiction film. Holographic displays showed building designs that defied every law of physics Rachel understood, structures that seemed to generate energy, walls that moved and adapted, materials that looked organic. And sitting at a workstation, surrounded by floating schematics, was a woman whose skin was a deep, luminous purple. The woman turned, her golden eyes widening in alarm. Rachel gasped, stumbling backward. "Lucas, we have a visitor," the woman said, her voice melodic with an otherworldly quality. Lucas appeared from behind a display, his expression a mixture of concern and resignation. "Rachel." "What? Who?" Rachel's architectural training tried to process the impossible. "Is she?" "Calathrian," the purple-skinned woman supplied, standing gracefully. She was tall and elegant, her movements fluid. "From a planet you call Kepler, 186F. My name is Zara." Rachel's legs felt weak. She grabbed the doorframe for support. "You're an alien. An actual alien. And you're the architect Lucas talks about constantly," Zara said with a gentle smile. "The one with innovative ideas about sustainable integration." "I talk about all my architects," Lucas interjected quickly, but his ears had turned slightly red. Rachel's mind raced through impossible connections. "The quantum materials in your recent designs. The energy generation systems that shouldn't work according to our physics. It's all from me," Zara confirmed. "My ship malfunctioned 6 months ago. I crashed in the desert outside the city. Lucas found me before anyone else did and chose to help rather than expose me." "Why?" Rachel whispered. Lucas stepped closer, his green eyes intense. "Because what Zara knows could save our planet. Her world faced environmental collapse 2 centuries ago. They learned to build in complete harmony with nature, buildings that generate energy, purify air and water, actually heal ecosystems rather than damage them." Zara pulled up a holographic display showing a city unlike anything Rachel had ever seen, towers that seemed alive, bridges that looked organic, structures that breathed. "Earth is heading toward the same collapse my world faced," Zara explained. "But you still have time. The technology Lucas and I have been developing could revolutionize your architecture, make your cities sustainable before it's too late." "And if the government finds her?" Rachel asked. "They'll lock her away," Lucas said grimly. "Weaponize her knowledge. Turn solutions into tools for profit and control. I've been protecting her while we work on prototypes that can't be suppressed." Rachel looked between them, Lucas's protective determination, Zara's hopeful expression. She thought about climate change, about rising seas and extreme weather, about the difference this could make. "How long do we have?" "My people will locate me within months," Zara said. "But federal agencies are also getting closer to detecting my quantum signature. It's a race." Rachel moved closer to the holographic displays, her architectural mind already analyzing the impossible structures. "These support systems, they're using principles we don't understand yet. But if we could adapt them to current construction methods." Lucas's hand touched her shoulder gently. "Does that mean you're willing to help?" Rachel turned to face him, seeing vulnerability beneath his usual confidence. He'd been carrying this enormous secret alone, protecting an alien while trying to save the world. "Yes," she said firmly. "Show me everything." Relief flooded Lucas's face. Over the next hours, Zara explained principles that rewrote Rachel's understanding of architecture. Buildings as living systems. Materials that grew and adapted. Structures that existed in harmony with their environment rather than dominating it. Rachel absorbed everything, asking questions that made Zara's golden eyes light up with enthusiasm. "You understand quickly," the alien said. Lucas chose well when he hired you. I chose well when I hired everyone on my team, Lucas said, but his eyes were on Rachel. Lucas, Zara said gently, perhaps you should tell Rachel the other reason you wanted her help. The one you've mentioned several times. Lucas shot Zara a look that promised retribution later. Rachel looked between them curiously. What other reason? Lucas ran his hand through his hair, suddenly looking less like a confident CEO and more like a nervous man. I heard your phone conversation. 3 weeks ago, after you walked in on me. I was on the balcony and voices carry. Rachel's face went scarlet. You heard, oh God. You heard everything? Every word, Lucas admitted, stepping closer. And Rachel, I haven't been able to stop thinking about you either. I've been finding excuses to work with you because I wanted. He was interrupted by an alarm. Zara's expression turned grave as she checked her displays. Quantum signatures detected. Federal vehicles approaching the building. They've found me. How long do we have? Lucas demanded, immediately shifting into crisis mode. 10 minutes, maybe less, Zara replied, her purple skin seeming to pale. They're using quantum scanners. I can't hide anymore, Protocol 7, Lucas said, already moving. Rachel, can I trust you with this? Absolutely, Rachel said without hesitation. They raced through the building, Lucas explaining as they moved. He'd prepared emergency protocols months ago, hidden passages, safe routes, backup plans. Rachel's architectural knowledge proved invaluable as she identified structural features even Lucas didn't know about. There's a maintenance tunnel behind this wall, she said, running her hand along what looked like solid concrete. Original blueprints from 1982. It connects to the subway system 2 blocks away. They got Zara out minutes before agents flooded the building. From Lucas's car, parked in a public garage, they watched federal vehicles surround Nexus Innovations. They'll search everything, Lucas said quietly. Find the lab. Question everyone, but Zara's gone, Rachel replied, her hand finding his. That's what matters. Lucas looked at their intertwined fingers, then at Rachel's face. You could have walked away. Pretended you never saw her. Kept yourself safe. I could have, Rachel agreed. But you didn't walk away when you found her. And I, she paused, courage gathering. I care about you too much to let you face this alone. Even though I eavesdropped on your private conversation, you were accidentally on your balcony, Rachel said with a small smile. I was deliberately gushing about your chest to my best friend. I think we're even, Lucas laughed despite the stress. For the record, I've been attracted to you since your interview. The way you talked about sustainable design like it was poetry. I almost hired you on the spot. Why didn't you say anything? Because you worked for me. Because it was complicated. Because I was terrified you'd think it was just some CEO power play. He cupped her face gently. And then you walked in on me half-dressed and fled like the building was on fire, and I thought maybe, just maybe, you felt something too. I felt a lot of things, Rachel admitted. Most of them highly inappropriate for an employee to feel about her boss. Good, Lucas murmured, leaning closer. Because I've been having highly inappropriate thoughts about my employee for months. He kissed her, and it was nothing like Rachel had imagined during those long nights of frustrated attraction. It was better, deep and passionate and full of months of restrained desire finally unleashed. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Zara's voice came from the back seat. While this is very touching, perhaps we could continue the escape first and the romance after. They drove to a safe house Lucas maintained outside the city, a converted warehouse where Zara could hide while they figured out next steps. Over the following weeks, they fell into a rhythm. By day, Lucas dealt with federal investigators who found his quantum lab but no alien. By night, the three of them worked on revolutionary designs in secret. And Rachel and Lucas fell deeper in love. I never thought I'd be dating my boss while hiding an alien and trying to save the world, Rachel said one night, curled against Lucas on the safe house couch while Zara worked nearby. Is it everything you dreamed? Lucas teased, kissing her forehead. Better, Rachel replied honestly. Even with the federal investigation and the world-saving pressure and the constant fear of discovery, you two are good for each other, Zara observed, not looking up from her work. On my world, we believe love is strongest when forged in shared purpose. You're building a future together, literally. Yes, Rachel sobbed, pulling him up to kiss him. Yes, you absolute madman. He slipped the ring on her finger as agents surrounded them. The interrogations lasted weeks. But without Zara's physical presence and with all quantum equipment destroyed, prosecutors struggled to build a case. Lucas's lawyers were exceptional. Eventually, most charges were dropped for lack of evidence. Nexus Innovations wasn't as lucky. The company faced massive investigations. Rather than fight, Lucas sold it to his board and walked away. We'll build something new, he told Rachel. Something better. 10 months later, Rachel stood on the rooftop garden of their first completed project, the Genesis Tower in Portland. The building rose 40 stories, but unlike traditional skyscrapers, it breathed. Literally. Living walls covered the exterior, filtering air while generating oxygen. Solar arrays disguised as architectural features powered the entire structure plus 12 surrounding buildings. Water collection and purification systems turned the tower into a net contributor to the city's resources. Thinking about her, Lucas asked, joining Rachel at the railing. He wore jeans and a work shirt now instead of designer suits, looking more relaxed than she'd ever seen him. Always, Rachel replied. Wondering if she can see what we've built. As if in answer, Rachel's phone chimed with an encrypted message using protocols Zara had taught them. My dearest friends. I write from home, restored to my family because of your courage. Your Genesis Tower has been observed from orbit. We are impressed. You've taken Calathrian principles and evolved them in ways uniquely human. My People's Council has voted. In 16 months, we initiate formal contact with Earth. We will arrive as partners, offering knowledge in exchange for Earth's creative innovation. Your architectural firm has been selected as the primary human liaison. Prepare yourselves. The future you've built together is about to expand across the stars. With love across the cosmos. Zara. Rachel's hands trembled as she showed Lucas the message. They're coming. Really coming. As partners, Lucas marveled. Because we chose compassion over fear. Because you chose to help a crashed alien instead of exploiting her, Rachel corrected. Because you chose to trust me even after discovering my massive secret, Lucas countered. He pulled her close, his hand resting on her slightly rounded belly where their daughter grew. Have you thought more about names? Actually, yes, Rachel smiled. Nova. It means new star. A new beginning. Perfect, Lucas kissed her softly. A Nova baby for a new era of human-alien cooperation. Their daughter kicked as if agreeing. Around them, the Genesis Tower hummed with clean energy. Below, Portland's skyline was transforming, 3 more of their sustainable buildings under construction, each one healing the urban environment rather than harming it. Do you ever regret it? Rachel asked. Losing your company? The federal investigation? Everything we went through? Lucas cupped her face, his green eyes warm with absolute certainty. Not for 1 second. I lost a company but gained you, our daughter, work that actually matters, and the knowledge that we helped bridge 2 worlds. All because I walked in on you half naked and then confessed to my best friend how attractive I found you, Rachel said, laughing. Best accidental eavesdropping of my life, Lucas agreed. Though technically, you were the one who walked into the wrong place at the wrong time. Or the right place at the right time, Rachel countered. Depending on how you look at it. Inside their office, their team was already designing the diplomatic venue for first contact, a building that would blend human creativity with Calathrian technology, a physical manifestation of partnership between worlds. As the sun set over Portland, painting the sky in shades that reminded them both of Zara's purple skin, Rachel and Lucas held each other. They'd started with an embarrassing moment and an overheard confession. They'd survived federal investigations and helped an alien escape. And now they were building a future that would welcome two worlds together. "I love you," Rachel whispered. "I love you too," Lucas replied. "Thank you for not running away that day. Thank you for staying." "Where else would I go?" Rachel smiled. "You're my home. This work is my purpose. And that alien friend of ours just promised us the adventure of a lifetime." Their daughter kicked again, as if eager to meet the Calathrians herself. Somewhere in orbit, Zara's people were watching, preparing for the day when two civilizations would meet not as conquerors and conquered, but as partners building something extraordinary together. And it had all started because Rachel Morgan walked through the wrong door at the right moment, saw something she wasn't supposed to see, and confessed feelings she thought were secret. Sometimes the most embarrassing moments lead to the most beautiful futures. Lucas cupped her face, his green eyes warm with absolute certainty. "Not for 1 second. I lost a company but gained you, our daughter, work that actually matters, and the knowledge that we helped bridge two worlds. All because I walked in on you half-naked and then confessed to my best friend how attractive I found you," Rachel said, laughing. "Best accidental eavesdropping of my life," Lucas agreed. "Though technically, you were the one who walked into the wrong place at the wrong time. Or the right place at the right time," Rachel countered. "Depending on how you look at it." Inside their office, their team was already designing the diplomatic venue for first contact, a building that would blend human creativity with Calathrian technology, a physical manifestation of partnership between worlds. As the sun set over Portland, painting the sky in shades that reminded them both of Zara's purple skin, Rachel and Lucas held each other. They'd started with an embarrassing moment and an overheard confession. They'd survived federal investigations and helped an alien escape. And now they were building a future that would welcome two worlds together. "I love you," Rachel whispered. "I love you too," Lucas replied. "Thank you for not running away that day. Thank you for staying." "Where else would I go?" Rachel smiled. "You're my home. This work is my purpose. And that alien friend of ours just promised us the adventure of a lifetime." Their daughter kicked again, as if eager to meet the Calathrians herself. Somewhere in orbit, Zara's people were watching, preparing for the day when two civilizations would meet not as conquerors and conquered, but as partners building something extraordinary together. And it had all started because Rachel Morgan walked through the wrong door at the right moment, saw something she wasn't supposed to see, and confessed feelings she thought were secret. Sometimes the most embarrassing moments lead to the most beautiful futures.